Argumentative. Breaking connections to the world. Empowering language on humanity. Let's bring the world of learning in one channel. Welcome to Persuasive English TV.
Hello Philippines! Good morning Nasugbu! And welcome to DCBES MNHS English TV Grade 9 edition. Hello learners! We are through with our first lesson. And now we are welcoming you to our second lesson. But before that, let us have some short recap of our previous lesson. Can you still define bias? Oops, without looking at your note. How about prejudice? Correct. That is expressing one's views and opinions that in a diverse society that kindle arguments. Some may agree, yet some may argue with your perceptions. Our lesson 2 talks about extracting important information from argumentative and persuasive texts. May I know your opinion? And with that, I am going to ask you, what can you say about this new normal? What can you say about following protocols for our safety? How about the vaccine for COVID-19 virus? That's it. That is all your opinion. And your opinions are needed for you to be able to come up with our lesson for today. But before that, I am going to give you first the objectives of the lesson. The first objective is define an argumentative and persuasive text. Second, extract information from an argumentative and persuasive text. And 3, answer exercises to practice transfer of learning. For our second lesson of grade 9 English, this particular thing is going to give you. The first one is an argumentative text. Let us define this. Argumentative text says it is used when you are arguing for or against a claim or when you are trying to persuade someone to agree with your point of view. Aha! You once read or heard the word persuade. What is persuade? To persuade is to convince. So now you know that persuading is also convincing. In an argumentative paragraph, it also needs to have a persuasive paragraph. Now what is persuasive paragraph? It tries to convince the reader that a particular point of view is worthy of consideration. It wants you to consider both sides of an issue, but it reveals a bias in favor of one side over another. So, when you are creating a persuasive paragraph, you must think that persuasive is convincing.
In extracting information from an argumentative text, you must be able to note the issue and the supporting and opposing opinion about the issue. Therefore, you must be familiar with the parts of an argumentative text: introduction, body,
Rebuttal.
and conclusion. Let us have first the introduction. It should engage the readers by using hook. And what is a hook? It is a sentence that captures readers' attention. Also, an introduction should have a thesis statement. And what is a thesis statement? A clearly worded statement telling readers what the writer intends to do in the essay. It should be in the last sentence. Next is the body. It contains paragraphs of supporting details and evidences from articles, statistics, and studies. Also, it explains why evidences are worthwhile. Each body should have a topic sentence at the beginning. A topic sentence clearly states the purpose of the paragraph. The third part is
Rebuttal.
it contains paragraphs of objection or opposing views on the claim. It also explains and proves why counter-argument is wrong, and it sums up problems with the counter-argument. The last part is conclusion. It restates the main point, and it leaves a strong impression on the readers by ending with a clinching statement.
Now that you are already familiar with the parts of argumentative texts, now here are the things that you should look for in extracting information from an argumentative text. Number 1, claim or argument. Number 2, data or evidences. Number 3, warrant. Number 4, counter-argument. Number 5, rebuttal. And number 6, conclusion statement. Let us have the first one, which is the claim or argument. This states the position in relation to the topic. Example, there is no evidence up to present time that can attest the efficacy of this inhalation practice in relation to COVID-19. The second one is the data or evidences. These support the claim with a fact, statistic, code, percentage, etc. and cite where that information came from. Let us have the examples. WHO Philippines said that hot steam can be harmful because of the risk of getting burn injury. Number 2, science and evidence must be sought in fighting COVID-19 virus. Number 3, there is no recommended treatment for COVID-19 yet. Number 4, people must avoid self-medicating and using unverified treatments to patients with COVID-19. The next is warrant. This explains why or how the evidence or data support the claim. It is typically 2 to 3 sentences in length. Then we also have to look for the counter-argument. This states a logical counterclaim. It uses language to show that there is a conflicting viewpoint like although, even though, despite, however, in contrast, etc. Example, employees in a provincial government were instructed to do steam inhalation twice a day at their own workplaces as part of their wellness program and became their means to battle COVID-19. Next is rebuttal. This presents data and analysis to discredit or prove the counterclaim is weak. It is typically 2 to 3 sentences in length. And lastly, we have the conclusion statement. It restates or summarizes the main points. Example, we must not put our health at risk by trying practices not recommended by experts in order to avoid physical health consequences. And again, here are the things that you should look for in extracting information from an argumentative text. Number 1, claim or argument. Number 2, data or evidences. Number 3, warrant. Number 4, counter-argument. Number 5, rebuttal. And number 6, conclusion statement.
On the other end, in analyzing persuasive text, you have to identify the issue. The second one, identify the contention. Let us have the first one, identify the issue. When you read an article, it's important to clarify the issue being debated. When you're identifying the issue, phrasing something as a question can help clearly state what is being argued over. The other one is identify the contention. Contention is simply another word for point of view or opinion. You have to read the piece of persuasive writing carefully to know what is the writer believes. Readers must learn to figure out if the writer uses ethos, pathos, logos in persuading. Ethos is a way of convincing the readers that the writer is a credible source. Second, pathos is a way of connecting with the reader's emotion. And lastly, logos is the use of facts, information, statistic, or other evidence to make the argument more convincing.
There you are, analytical readers! You can now weigh how writers persuade readers like you. Let's practice. This is your day 1 activity. Read the text properly. Determine whether the given statements are true or false. Let's start. It has been argued that dolphin parks provide the only opportunity for much of the public to see marine mammals. That is according to Smith in 1992. Most Australians, this argument goes, live in cities and never go to see these animals. It is claimed that marine parks allow the average Australian to appreciate our marine wildlife. However, as Smith states, dolphins, whales, and seals can be viewed in the wild at a number of places on the Australian coast. In fact, there are more places where they can be seen in the wild than places where they can be seen in captivity. Moreover, most Australians would have to travel less to get to these locations than they would to get to the marine parks on the Gold Coast. In addition, places where there are wild marine mammals do not charge an exorbitant entry. They are free. Answer number 1. The claim in the paragraph is implied. Number 2. There is no counter-argument presented in the text. Number 3. The writer did not provide evidences that supports the refutation. Number 4. The sentence, most Australians live in cities and never go to see these animals, proves the claim. Number 5. The paragraph is argumentative in nature. For your next activity, study the text closely. Match the parts of the text as to their headings. Use the letters to represent your answers. Let's start. Most little kids get far too much homework. Our class believes homework should be banned in primary school. Firstly, it's well known that kids are not as fit as they should be. Sitting around for hours doing homework is dreadfully unhealthy. Secondly, kids work hard at school all day, so they need time to relax and refresh their brains. Worrying about homework causes stress for kids and frustration for parents. Thirdly, homework is hideously difficult to complete for many kids. Therefore, they need help from the teacher and lots of resources which they can get at home. In conclusion, we believe homework, which is really just more schoolwork, should be done at school or banned entirely. Let's answer. We believe that homework should be done at school or banned entirely. Is it text type, contention, topic sentence, supporting details, ethos, or conclusion? Number 2. It's well known that kids are not as fit as they should be. Same options. Number 3. Homework is hideously difficult to complete for many kids. Therefore, they need help from the teacher and lots of resources which they can't get at home. Same option. Number 4. Worrying about homework causes stress for kids and frustration for parents. Same options. And number 5, our class believes homework should be banned in primary school. The same options. For your next activity, read the text carefully. Answer the given items by choosing the letter of the best answer. Let's start. Immigration contributes to the overall health of the American economy. Despite recent concerns expressed about illegal and some legal immigration to the United States, this country has largely benefited from the skills, talents, and ambition that immigrants bring with them. American businesses gain from a good source of affordable labor, while towns and cities are revitalized by immigrant families who strengthen communities through civic participation and the generation of new economic activity. The United States must continue to welcome new arrivals and help those who are already here. Otherwise, the country will lose the advantage it has over other industrialized countries that compete against us in the global marketplace and seek to recruit from a vast pool of unskilled and skilled global workers. Let us answer. Immigration contributes to the overall health of the American economy is a claim, conclusion, evidence, or reason. 2. American businesses gain from a good source of affordable labor is A. Claim, conclusion, evidence, or supporting details. Number 3. Towns and cities are revitalized by immigrant families to strengthen communities through civic participation is A. Claim, conclusion, counterclaim, or supporting details. Number 4. The United States must continue to welcome new arrivals and help those who are already here. Otherwise, the country will lose the advantages it has over other industrialized countries. Claim, conclusion, counterclaim, or reason. And number 5, the text aims to argue, entertain, explain, persuade. Next activity, choose the letter that best represents your answer. Number 1, these refer to declarations made to justify an action, decision, or belief. Is it arguments, counter-arguments, evidences, or reasons? Number 2, it refers to an argument made to answer likely objections, like being one step ahead, I know you're going to say this, but... Is it claim, counter-argument, evidence, or support? Number 3, it states the argument that the writer is trying to prove. Letter A, claim, B, conclusion, C, evidence, and D, topic sentence. Number 4, what should you do after presenting text evidence? A, summarize that evidence. B, move on to another reason. C, develop another argument. D, explain how that evidence proves your thesis statement. And number 5, which would be the most credible source for your evidence? A quote from Wikipedia. B, an article from a news journal. C, a statement from a famous celebrity. Or D, a quote from a popular blog with over 1 million followers. For your day 4 and last activity, you are going to read the text entitled Why Students Should Eat Breakfast Every Day. Then you are going to list down the important information from the material, bearing if it is convincing or persuading to make people believe on it. So after reading the text, you are going to write your answers in one whole sheet of paper. So just read and list down important information of the material. And with that, grade 9 students, good luck and see you on our next lesson. Goodbye!